Hey everybody, welcome to a new FileMaker episode. Today what we're doing is we are answering some questions that we had. So we do have a couple of questions that a specific viewer wanted to know the answer to. One of them was very specific and had to do with the split pay option. So the ability to do split pay. I know the thumbnail is like a little weird. I'll change that thumbnail at some point in time in the future. But right now, it happened to be what I have on what I had available. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through. This is just an old system that I had set up. Actually, it's like a great system that I set up, amazing system that I set up. But what it is this is in one of the older systems that I actually set up. And so what we'll do is we're going to go through and we're going to kind of start looking at. We're going to do two things today, really super fast. One thing that we want to deal with or we want to look at is we want to look at the possibility of creating a discount. So if you have a military veteran or you have an elderly person, I'm not talking about individual discounts per line item. I'm talking about a complete total amount due discount. So if you sell someone whatever and you want to give them a 10% discount on everything that they purchase, you can do that. And that's kind of what we're looking for. But first, let's start with the split pay. So if we double click the split pay, what we did is we created a system of buttons here. So let's just close this down really quick. And so let's show you if we exit the layout and we do the split pay. What it shows us is we then have a total due and a cash received. So the cash received, and then a complete button. And as you can see, it's kind of missing this thing. There's nothing there you can see. But if we go into edit the layout and we double click on this, you can see that it says credit charge. So these are all fields that we added to our database. So if you go into the database, you'll see that here we have, we're on, I think that's register, cash paid. So it wouldn't actually be on register, it's going to be on invoice. So on invoice we have the cash paid, which is a number field, and then we have the grand total, which all we did is we grabbed the grand total from over here and we just brought it over here so that it's two boxes. They're both the same. They're different sizes, but I mean they're both the same. So if this one says something, this one will say it as well. So we know what the total due is. So we didn't create a new field for that. That's just a field that we already had in existence. Now we did do the cash paid one. And so we added that, and it's just cash paid, and it's just a number. That's all it is. It's just a number. And then the last one that we created was credit underscore charge. So the credit underscore charge is actually a calculation. And let's go in and look at that calculation really quick. So it's a case calculation. Now you don't have to, you don't necessarily have to do this. You can be like, you can just basically have it just a basic calculation saying that you want the grand total less the cash paid, and that will leave whatever number is left will end up in this box. However, I did it a little differently and I added a case to it. And the reason why I did that is because if the cash paid is empty, then we don't want it to do anything. We don't want it to actually function. We don't want it to show anything in there. So, but if it is not empty, and that's where you see case is case in case of. So if this is empty, that's what it's saying. So case, and then you have the bracket, and then I just pressed enter, and then I said is empty. Then we have another bracket, is empty cash paid. Because it's going to want to know if what is empty, if what field. So we selected the cash paid field. And then we, of course, have the little semicolon. And that is, so if it is empty, then we want it to show the parentheses. And that's what the semicolon means. So we have a semicolon and then the parentheses. And then we have another semicolon. and that's to say what's the next part of it. So, because if you go into case, you'll see it says test 1, then result 1, and then test 2 and result 2. So it gives you this long version of things that you can do. So if the first one is correct, then this. If the second one is correct, then that. So that's kind of how it works. So then the next one is if not is empty, the cash paid field. Then we want the grand total. We want this to show what we want to show in this field that we're working on. We want it to show the grand total minus the cash paid. And then, of course, we have ending brackets so that we're all out of the cash paid. We're all out of that whole system. Okay. And so that's basically the total summation of the split pay. Then when we go into, and we can just say okay there. And we can say, let's go into our complete button. Double click. Come on, I know you can work. There we go. So in this, we have it split sale register 1. So what I want you to understand is on many of the other scripts that we wrote, like the question was actually in relationship to one of my very first video sets that had to do with the split pay. So we're going to look at this script really fast, but I don't want you guys to get it confused. It's exactly the same as a cash sale, other than what it's going to do is it's going to take the cash paid and it's going to put that in the cash column in your daily sales monitor. So in your daily sales monitor, you've got the invoice number, the day, you have the total amount of sales, or you have cash sales, you have credit card sales, the total amount of sales, the total tax that you collected so that you can keep that tax separate. So all this is going to do is it's going to put a number in that cash sales and another number in the credit sales. So that's all it's going to do. But we are going to look at it. And in this particular case, it is a giant. So and that's the reason why I explained it to you first, because in this sense, it is a giant script. This one has a huge amount to do with things that you wouldn't normally have. So this one, it says, if it is empty, then don't do this. That's the grand total. And if the credit charge thing is empty, and also show a number. So because remember, the credit card charge, or the amount that we're going to charge, doesn't show because we use the case. Remember, we use the case. So it's not going to show, it's not going to autofill that unless you put money in cash received. Cash received. How much money did you actually collect in cash? So it won't autofill the charge one until you put money in there, right? So, and then it says, we'll show a custom dialog that'll say, please enter the cash amount first. Because we needed to do that with a split pay. We needed to say, you can't complete this until you actually show how much cash, because we don't want to move data from an empty field. We want that data to have, or that field to have data in it. That's the reason why we did that. And then we also went to a third if statement that had to do with the register invoice lock number. That would not apply to an earlier script, but what it's basically doing is it's saying if you're on the wrong invoice, okay. But this particular script, it deals with, you have the option to hold invoices. So you can hold a bunch of different invoices if you want to. So, and I will show you that here in just a minute. But as you can tell, if you read through this, you can just kind of look through it. You can pause the screen and just kind of look through it. You'll see that you're still going to set all of those same variables. But I've got one here that's $cash and one that's $credit. So that's the big difference. And then when we actually do go to our register monitor, which is right here, which is going to be our daily sales monitor, we actually set a field, cash sales, and we set credit card sales. So we're going to set data on both of those fields. And then the rest of it basically just has to do with holding an invoice and making sure that you go back and complete all of that stuff. So we'll say okay with that. So if we were to exit the layout and you were to press the split pay and you tried to press the complete, it would say no records exist. I'm sorry, we can't do anything for you. Stop pushing the darn button, right? Now, the very next, hopefully I've answered the questions on the split pay. It's relatively simple. You do need to add, like I said, you do need to add a couple of fields in your database so that you can deal with that. And those are going to be under your invoice. The big one is the cash paid. And then the next one is going to be the credit, the amount of the credit charge. And we've shown you how to do that. It is very, very simple if you're doing on your credit charge. If all you do is you put in just your total amount, so your you can say your grand total less cash paid. That's all you really have to do if you want to keep it very, very, very simple. This computer program or this particular solution was very, very, very in depth. So if you haven't watched this one, I totally think that you should watch it because there's so much scripting and so much information in it that would be of great help to you. So we will call that okay. Now the next thing that we want to deal with is a discount. If I haven't answered your question, do make sure that you tell me that I haven't answered your question, but make sure that your question or your answer is very specific so that I know what we're talking about, so that I can give you a reasonable answer. So in order to do a discount, you would need a couple of things. One of the first things you're going to need is you're going to need a field. So if we go ahead and we manage our database and we go into, because here what we're looking for is we're looking for all of these. We're looking for the cash paid and the price and the total and the subtotal and all that other neat stuff. And so we need to create a field, and the field that we need to create is pretty simple. Just call it discount, and it will be a number field, and we'll create it. Now it doesn't have to generate anything by itself, so it doesn't need to do anything. But when we're doing the price total summary or the total price, or let's see, what are we looking for? The grand total. So if you go into grand total, you can see grand total is a calculation, and it's a subtotal plus the state tax. So it's saying all of your line items. So in the other one we had taxable and non-taxable. Okay, so you have to add all that stuff together. So, and what we're looking for is it's a very simple calculation. Unfortunately, it won't let me move this box anywhere. It won't let me go anywhere with it the way that it's set. But in this case, all that we would have to do is have this say minus and then the discount. That's it. So now if we put a discount in here, let's just say okay. Let's just say okay. And then we're going to grab a field picker, and we're going to grab, let's go into our related fields, and let's do our discount. And we don't want to label, we're just going to bring it out here. Just going to bring it out here. It's pretty small for right now, but don't worry about it. So there's our discount. And then if we exit the layout, we'll see that we now have a discount button. So let's say that we want to, I think this, let me see if this was correct. Exit. Register one. Okay. There was... I thought there was a button to get... I can't remember. I haven't messed with this one for a while. But if you click on this, see if it's even going to let me do it. Nope, it's not going to let me do it. Edit layout. Let's see. Let me go into my inspector field and find out what's going on. So data, it needs to be available in browse mode. Okay, so it doesn't need to be available in browse mode. But if I put in 25, then it would instantaneously say negative $25. So it's an instantaneous. It deletes or subtracts whatever. And if I change it, I can change it to $15, and it will automatically change it to $15. So, but let's say that you want a very specific discount, a very, very, very specific discount. Well, that's a pretty simple thing to do. But what we need to do is we need to build a button for that. So in this particular case, we're just going to delete it, and we'll delete that. And we'll just return it to inventory, even though there's nothing there. Let's see. Oh, it won't let me do it. It won't let me get rid of those buttons. All right, no big deal, because there's absolutely nothing in there anyway, and we can't mess with it. So what we will do is we'll edit the layout, and we're going to create a button or a popover. And I think the popover is basically kind of what we need. So we're just going to create a little button or a little popover. Let's do it the exact same size as that button. And the popover we want to call discounts. And we'll say okay, but we don't really want this to say popover, so we'll delete it. And for this, I'm gonna go into my field inspector, my appearance. We'll just say none, because that's the way I am. Now, we do need to create some buttons and put them inside of this, because that's kind of the big thing. So one of the buttons that we're going to create to put inside of it is just a button. We'll just make a standard button, and we're just going to put 10. Well, let's do 10%. Ah! What the heck is that? scared bejesus out of me. Okay, so if we just do, we can do 10%. And then we'll just tell it to do nothing, because what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of them. So come on, I'm pressing and holding Control. Press and hold Control. Grab them both. So this is all about how many discounts do you want. This one, if you double click it, you can make it, you can delete and go 20%, or you can go 15%, or you can, whatever you want to. But you're going to have to write a script for every single one. Get it? Every single one. And how you do that is, let's do the 10% one, because it's pretty simple, right? So I do apologize because I don't know the names of a lot of these things, because I haven't messed with this particular script, and every time you do, or this particular solution, and every time you do solutions, a lot of times what you'll find is you'll find that when you move on to other solutions, that you name things differently. So we're just going to try and muster our way through this as best as we can. So on the 10% discount, what we're going to do is we're going to double click it, and we're going to tell it that we want it to perform a script. And then we're going to create a script for it. So we'll create a brand new script for it. And the brand new script that we'll call is, we'll say, we'll call it discount 10. So now what we need to do is we need to collect the number that we're looking for. So the total number that we're looking for is we need to set a variable. So we'll set a variable, and that variable is going to be our grand total, right? That grand total number. So we'll just do total. and we'll specify. And that's going to be under our invoice. Invoice. Grand total. And now we have this data. But we need to actually we need to work by calculating that data, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say that we want to set a field. And it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple, but just remember, you're going to have to do this like for all of them, because individual increases and or decreases will change it. So, and then we will want to set a field. And the target field that we want to set is under our invoice. And it is the discount field. And the calculated result, that's where this whole thing makes sense. That's where everything comes into Unity. It all comes together when we're dealing with the calculated result. Because remember, it's now a calculation. So we're trying to calculate it. So our calculated result is going to be the grand total multiplied by 10%, or multiplied by 0.01, whatever the case is, right? So, yeah, 0.01. So we're going to say $total, and then because you can't just say that we want to go into you can't just go into invoice and say I want the grand total times 10%. I mean, I guess you could, but it kind of it throws things into a query. So the best thing to do is just do it this way. So that times, and then we'll add some parentheses because we want to make sure that we keep our numbers exact. So we'll say 0.01. We'll say okay. Now, we do have one of the other options is that we have to, one thing that we might want to add to our script, and I'm doing this in steps so that you guys can kind of figure out as we're going along what we're trying to do. We're going to do let's see, let's remove this. Say okay, okay, okay. Exit layout. Okay. So if we go to discount and we discount it, it'll show 0, 0, 0 because there's nothing there. But if we went into total due, and what we need to do is we need to basically go into let's make this available for us to actually change. So just so you know, so I just want to be able to make it so that I can change it. So we will make it available in browse mode. This one we need to make it not available in browse mode, just so you know. So if you click this one, do go into your field inspector and make sure that you cannot select it in browse mode, because you don't need it in browse mode. And you can obviously dress these up and make them prettier, the buttons prettier. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, so now if we exit the layout, I can should be able to make a change to this. So I will put in $25. It's not going to let me, it's not modifiable. Dang it. Okay, let me do the grand total instead. I'll make that available in browse mode, and this one I will change it back to not available in browse mode. Which is good. I'm glad that I put those securities into there, so I'm happy about that. So now I can at least make a change to this. It's not going to let me make a change to that either. Boy, when I built this program, I did such a good job, it's not even funny. There was a... there was a deal where I was for sure that you could get certain numbers. Let's see, where are we? Let's find our pages. Templates, product pages, register 1x. Let's go there. Nope, that's not it. Bulk in product pages, category page. Yeah, so this is the page I was talking about. Exit layout. So if we go $1, $3, and $40, and then we go to the invoice, now we have this. I can't remember how to get to that page though, right off the top of my head. So you guys will have to watch it. But anyway, so right now our discount, as you can see, is nothing. But if we come in here and we go in and we push our 10% discount, actually that's a 1% discount, isn't it? Because it only gave 48 cents to the discount part. And then our grand total changed just slightly. So let's go back and change that. Let's edit the layout really quick. And our 10%, the script, we'll just go into here and we'll click this and we'll delete one of the zeros and we'll say okay, okay, and we'll close it. So now if we exit the layout and we press our discount, it'll now give a $4.78 discount. So as you can see, it automatically does it. It's an automatic feature. You can't change it. But let's say that let's say you want to get rid of that discount. Now remember, it's once you start a new record, it'll clear all the fields. But let's say that you accidentally put the discount in there and you want to take it off. So how do you do that? Well, that's pretty simple. Let's go into edit our layout and we'll go back into our discount button. And what we're going to do with these two buttons is we're going to create one button from the two of them. So we'll delete this one. We're going to stretch this one out so it covers both of them. If we double click on it, we can say delete or whatever you want to say. I'm just going to say dismiss. And then I'm going to tell it to do something, but I want to tell it to do something here in just a minute. So I want to go up here really quick and change that to 24. Just like the rest of these, I'm going to hold shift. And I'm also going to change those to 24. So they just pop. You guys can see them now. Now we've got a 10%. I think this one, what we should do is we should do a 15%. This one, and they're all going to be the same. This one will be a 20%. Delete. Okay. And this one will be a 25%. Okay. Now, just remember, you're not going to use the same script. You're going to use a different script for every single one of those. And it's going to be pretty simple. All you have to do is you have a 10% discount, a 15% discount, so you're just changing that number in the end. Now, if you want to, you could create what's the word I'm looking for? You could create a script that if you add another box into here, like a discount box, then you could say each button would say a certain thing. So all it would do is fill that with a certain number, and that would be just fine. And then you'd only have to write one script and you wouldn't really have to deal with it, but in this case you have to write scripts for every single discount that you want to apply. And then on the dismiss, it's pretty simple. All we want it to do, let's tell it to perform a script, and it's going to be like a really super simple, and it's going to be clear discount. And all we want it to do is set a field, and that field is going to be under the invoice, and it's going to be the discount, and the calculated result is going to be clear. Parentheses. And we'll say okay, okay, okay. And so now if we exit our layout and we go into this, we can dismiss it, and our number is back to 4830. So that number will change every single time something happens. So now you've learned how to create a discount button, how to fill it, how to make all that stuff work. And the discount is, like I said, it's a total discount, so it covers absolutely everything. And now if you went to split pay, and it says, as you can see, it says 4830. Let's click off of it. Let's put in a discount. Let's put in our 10% discount. We'll just click off of it. What we can do, you know what? Let's do this really fast. I know this didn't make any sense, and I know I've only been doing this for 31 minutes, but I want to fix something really quick. I want to, when we do this script, discount 10, after this, I wanted to actually close, so I'm going to just type in close Popover. I'll say okay. Now, under every single other, I always say halt script. So now if I was to go exit layout and I was to do the discount, let's dismiss the discount. See how it didn't close the popover? So when we're doing this, let's make sure that we are adding that into there. So clear discount, and that's the reason why we did it. So here we'll just type close popover. But you don't have to add the halt script at the end of this because you're not actually telling it to do a script. You're just saying close popover. So exit the layout, exit layout, discount, dismissed it, it closes it. Discount, 10%, it closes it automatically. Now watch what happens when you go to split pay. That number is exactly correct because this field is exactly the same as that field. Exactly the same. And if I added a number here, like $20, and I clicked off, it will automatically tell me that the amount to charge is $23.47. Pretty simple. Pretty easy and simple. And then when we complete it, everything goes away. Now I will eventually remember how it was that I actually did what I did, but because there is actually a way to get from here, but I can't remember what it was, to get to that one screen where you could charge $1 or $2 or $3 or whatever. I will figure out how to do that. I've just completely seemed to have missed what I was doing. But anyway, with that, guys, I do want you to know that I do appreciate absolutely everything you guys do. You guys are absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, let me just check this really quick. Admin, user data. So in order to get to that window, there is no getting to that window. Huh. Let's go back to our admin. So apparently I did not put that into this particular one, but I will. It's not that big of a deal. I will definitely make sure that I do that. Let's exit and let's go into our register. So register one, like I said, this discount button is so simple to do, and it will change everything, but you do want to keep track of that fact. And if you and what you should do is when you're doing your cash, your credit, and your split pay, you should say there should be a thing. If this is empty, then don't set it as a variable. But if it is not empty, set it as a variable so that you know what discounts you're actually giving, because you need to be able to keep track of the discounts and how many discounts you've given and blah blah blah, all that neat stuff. So in case you're wondering, I had a lot of fun. You guys are absolutely amazing. Until next time, if you have any other questions, this one I just popped up in the middle of my property management one, so I do apologize for you people that jumped in thinking that we were going to do some property management today. But so we're not. We will probably tomorrow, but not today. I promise you we will get to that tomorrow. But today I just wanted to answer those questions and kind of show you anything. Hopefully I've answered all your questions. If you have any more, please leave them in the comments below. I promise I answer every one of them. I answer every one of them. If I just give you a thumbs up on your question, that it usually means because you made a statement, and I just want you to know that I do appreciate that. But if you do leave a comment, I'll make a video. I'll show you how to do it and how to make it really cool. This one, obviously, we don't do discounts here in this particular store, but I can definitely add discounts on this system, and it's pretty simple to do. It's pretty simple to do. Like I said, you just add this little box and you add a button and you write scripts. So until next time, guys, thank you so very much for watching me. You guys are absolutely amazing. I cannot do this without you. I do appreciate you. Don't forget to check out Luke Inlet Media. Please give me a thumbs up. I really do appreciate those. And if you have any comments and or questions, don't forget to leave them below. We will see you guys in the next episode. And don't forget, have a good day. Be good to each other.